up, you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on Dressed to Kill, we're going to take a deeper dive into Hydroid Prime's model, take a look at a couple of the customizations I have for him, and do a little bit of experimenting with the accessories that came with Prime Access. Now, if you're wondering what all of this is, some of you may already know that I did lose out on a bit of a bet with Life of Rio, so he requested blues and greens from the Infested palette, and I figured I would do my best not to make them look so utterly shit. But of course, we're gonna have to get rid of this real fast. Alright, now that feels a ton better, especially since we don't have the glaring bright colors to distract us from all of the incredible details that exist on Hydroid Prime. And let me tell you right now, this is a very detailed frame. I believe that QuietShy may have even tweeted out that it might be a little too detailed, and I don't quite disagree with her. However, he does look damn good. So first and foremost, I want to start with that helmet, because the interesting thing that you guys may not have noticed here is it's not just like a beard, but he's also got like two little like side dangly bits. I want to call them like, in reality it would be like braids that they've like kind of like added to the side of it, and they have their own little jewelry and gemming on the tips and stuff like that. It looks really sick. They've got their own physics to go along with them too, so they can kind of flap independently of each other, and I think it looks pretty freaking dope. One of my favorite things about the helmet itself is actually it's got like this little energy thing right here that kind of comes up at the cap, and I think that it looks really cool. The inset of this part of we're just gonna call it a pirate hat because that's legitimately what it is. Also has a little bit of an energy effect there too. You'll also notice there's a little sis-scrung because, you know, when you get a new frame, you can't help but catch a little something that goes along with it. And I'm actually going to go ahead and knock down the SANDR right now because we don't need to show it at this moment. But as you can tell, he's also got a ponytail, which is pretty sick. They're calling it a ponytail, but I almost like to think that it's like a bandana that comes around the back of the head, right? You know, you like have the bandana and then you have the hat on top of that. At least I feel like that's the pirate style. And as you can tell here, we're not actually using any of the Prime armor, and that's mainly because of the fact that I wanted to, or not using the Prime accessories armor, because I wanted to kind of show him in his natural state. Now moving on to the actual model of the core part of his body himself, my favorite thing is those fucking shoulder pads, dude. Like the swirl that comes up from that shoulder pad is so sick and kind of helps frame the face. It's almost kind of like this large collar. You know how kind of like collars come around the head? I think it looks super cool like that, and it provides some really great framing. I love the way that it kind of sinks into the back and almost creates, like, a lot of the detailing that you'll see almost creates these waves and ripples amongst the body, and I think it's super just reflective of what Hydroid Prime is supposed to be. Like, when you see him, he looks like a pirate this time around, right? Like, his original model felt kind of dumpy, for lack of a better term, but this variant looks super cool. Like the boots, come on, tell me those boots don't look absolutely fucking dope. From the detailing on the top of the boots down to the toes, it looked so good. It almost feels like I mean, as compared to the original model, I remember that there were some weird side bits to it. It's almost kind of like they trimmed that down and replaced it with these boots instead, and it looks absolutely fantastic. The key on the groin, always a great place to keep your keys, but this is actually one of my favorite parts. Now, you guys know that I was absolutely in love with Harrow's boots, and you can kind of tell from the back, it almost kind of has some similarities to that, where it almost feels like rolled fabric, and I really love it. But the crowning achievement to me, and this is really weird for me to say that this is possibly my favorite part, but I love the way that all of the tint masks kind of lay so nicely on each other with the back. Like, I absolutely love, here's the metallic, you know what I mean? You've got the dark metallic, and then you've got this kind of like, the tertiary color coming in right there, kind of edged with that white. I just feel like it all fits so nicely in with each other. I'm a big fan. Oh my god, I just didn't even realize how sick the gloves were. Like, everything about Hydroid Prime's model just screams like thoughtfulness. They really took the theme and they ran with it, and they said, you know what? We were just making Squid Man to begin with, but you know what? Let's go ahead and full-blown pirate his ass. And I think they did a fantastic job with it. Now, I got a lot of questions asking, how does this look with the Grax skin? And I'm going to be completely honest with you, it's pretty much night and day. Now, I'm giving you guys the heads up right now that if you're not, you know, even if you have the prime details toggled off, they still have made it so that you need to have the shoulder pieces on, which is a little bit of a bother, but you can kind of fix that by tossing on a different shoulder piece if you want to, and there are lots of great customizations that go with the Grax skin really well. Now I'm gonna go ahead and toggle this on real quick, and as you can see, it's a massive change. The boots change, the whole waist changes, the shoulder pads change, and the chest changes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't quite hate it. I actually think that it's an interesting mix. It's probably something that I might experiment with in the future, but as of right now, I kind of feel like I'm a purist when it comes to primes, so I'll probably leave my primes the way they are. But let's go ahead and take a look how the other helmets work with it. Alright, so while we're on the subject of different skins, I figured we should go ahead and take a look at how each of the helmets sit, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, the only one that I really like the look of is the Grax. The Grax actually seems to do halfway decent with it. Clearly, it's not as ornate as the rest of them. It definitely kind of picks up on the Grineer theme, but I don't feel like it's too far off. I don't feel that it's under detailed to the point where it doesn't fit, and the great thing about it is it retains all of the metallics from the primed variant, so it's kind of like the tint maskings all work, and it looks halfway decent if that's the way you want to run it. Now the rest of them, however, because of the fact that the actual normal frame itself doesn't have any metallics on it, the tint maskings are a little bit weird since there are no metal bits that actually sit there, which means we're gonna get a weird third color, as you can see with a majority of them, right? And as you can see here, even that, because you know, we get that weird mix of like metals and matte, so the skin itself has all of those really cool metallics, but because of the fact that these headpieces don't, looks kind of odd. Alright, we are busting out Infested Captain for one last run. Now before we get into customizations, I figured we would go ahead and take a look at the primed visuals. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, there's really only one, and that of course is the Kraken. Now, for those of you with tryptophobia, I'm not really big on the pink energy color coming from the tentacles. So as you guys can see, one side of the tentacles is textured almost to kind of look like it's got suction cups, and then the other side of the tentacles are just completely flat. Of course, that doesn't affect gameplay in any way, shape, or form. It's just a new look for the tentacles. Now, my personal issue, aside from the whole tryptophobia thing, is that the actual Kraken itself doesn't have any metal bits to it. And I mean, a Kraken wouldn't have metal bits to it, but a part of me felt like golden maw vibes, and I was like, well, you know, this is like a prime frame, maybe we could have a prime Kraken to go along with it, but you know, that's just me. They probably couldn't code in like carrying over the metallics and all of that kind of stuff with it, so I get that they might not have been able to do it in that capacity. Now, as for the rest of his kits, as you can see right here, there's really not too much of a change to any of it. I don't see any kind of like any secondary colors or any like gold shattering or whatnot. Puddle looks the same, and the splash dash looks pretty much the same as well. But of course, he did get that big visual overhaul, so the water looks a ton better than it did previously. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on, and we're going to say goodbye to Infested Hydroid. Now, first up is my take on the standard Hydroid Prime. As you can tell, I've shifted everything into the kind of like navy blue family and tossed in a couple creams in there as well. I've got some nice denim on the legs to kind of continue that blue theme, and the main reason that I wanted to do it this way is it reminded me legitimately of the Navy, and that's kind of what I think about Hydroid, is like he's the naval captain of the Warframe. So I was like, let's go ahead and continue that trend. I also went ahead and tossed on the the Edo armor set, mainly because of the fact that I was using all of the same armor set on the entire customization look, and I figured that I would go ahead and mix it up just a little bit. And this almost suits a little bit of a Tempest theme, you know, kind of like storms and, you know, the raging seas, and they kind of go hand in hand. So I figured, why not go ahead and toss it on there and give you another example. I'm gonna be honest with you, after this video is done, however, I am gonna swap it back to the Spritsail armor set because I just feel like that's so thematic, but I didn't want to bore you with the same look over and over and over again. Alright, so next up we have potentially my favorite customization of the bunch, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this might actually become my primary look for Hydroid, and that's mainly because of the fact that I love the way that the rich browns convey this really nice leathery feel to the whole look. Like, the previous version was a bit more cool and looked more like military naval seamen, right? This, on the other hand, is definitely way more pirate. I've actually taken the blues and warmed them up just a little bit too, because I really like that interplay between brown and blue, but I wanted to keep the temperature right in that warm family. And I also love the way that the kind of gold plays with everything as well with the Spritsail armor. It makes you feel like Hydroid Prime is like a wealthy pirate, like he's doing good with his life. And I mean, who doesn't want a wealthy man to pirate their booty occasionally, right?
The dark side.
So I would be lying if I didn't say that this last customization was a little bit inspired from my trek through the Infested palette because of Life of Rio, okay? I'm just saying, I actually was playing around with some of the violets in there, and, you know, combined with some of the greens, it kind of turned into this weird sludgy mess, and it kind of gave me this inspiration of a pirate that's been like dragged through the mud. A little bit more grizzled, a little bit more veteran, maybe even like part of like a pirate ghost ship or something like that. So I definitely wanted to approach it in that way, shape, or form, like definitely like an evil pirate, right? I went ahead and tossed on the Gazelle armor set on him as well, which I think works really, really well with the theme. The only thing that I didn't do, and this tends to be an issue with a lot of Hydroid's armor, especially with this helmet, is the fact that the beard to the helm tends to get caught in any of the chest pieces, and let's face it, the whole look is already very, very detailed, and the Gazelle chest piece, you know, has that fabric wrapped around the like ribbon, which like sits underneath the beard, so it just kind of looked like a big jumbled mess to me. So I figured, hey, let's toss a sigil on it and let's call it a day. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into Prime accessories, starting with the Sardin Prime Sugatra. I figured you would knock this one out really quick. Now, the model itself is actually pretty freaking good. And by the way, pardon me, this is the best way that I could kind of like display it to you. But yeah, the model, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. The physics, however, kind of bother me a bit. First and foremost, I'm not necessarily fond of its attachment point. It's weird because, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, it looks like the attachment point is basically just a part of the model. It doesn't look like it's a separate bit attached to fabric. So what it looks like is it looks like there's like a stiff bit, and then all of a sudden this is just where they decided where it was gonna flop over, right? It just doesn't feel quite right, and the weight of the Sugatra itself doesn't feel like it matches up with its thickness, right? It looks like it should be a lot heavier than that, but it almost behaves more like a ribbon would, as opposed to what looks to be something that is made out of both metal and leather, right? It feels like it should have a harder dangle, but you know, that is just my opinion, and to be honest with you, this is not what you're gonna buy the Prime accessories for. Let's go ahead and take a look at that frickin' Spritsail armor set. Alright, so for those of you guys who have not already seen it, I did feel the need to have to bring it into Captura to show you guys the majesticness of this. No, you're not gonna get electricity volts coming off of this and kind of like bouncing off the walls, and you're not gonna get like crazy energy plumes, but what you are gonna get is like this waterworks show. It's like a mini Hydroid barrage just kind of coming in and splashing all of your armor. You get some nice little energy effects that kind of like weave out from the shoulder bits and the standard channeling stuff that happens to the rest of your body. But really the star of the show is all of these kind of like specks of energy just kind of like flashing and being attracted to the pieces. I have to be honest with you, I know a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, they're buffing Hydroid Prime so that Hydroid Prime sells really, really well. I'm like, no, it's the armor set that's gonna sell it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this is definitely something worth picking up. Now you guys can probably already tell that I am a big fan of this armor set, and it's one of those that I think that people are going to end up regretting if they don't just pick it up outright. Clearly, you don't need to buy all of Hydroid Prime Access, you can always farm for all of the relics, but the accessories pack is exclusive specifically for pay. But I figured I would go ahead and show you what it looks like on a couple other different Warframes out there that have actually kind of taken the time to customize and tweak so that it looks good on them. So as you can see right here, we've got Rhino Palatine, and I feel like it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm actually a big fan of the way that it sits on the chest. So as you can see here, you get that cool V that comes down, and it kind of like this little bit kind of brings it straight down. So it's like a Y instead of a V now, and I think it works super well with that one. I'm gonna have to swap into this next one real quick with Mag, because as you guys know, I am a big fan of the Mag Grax skin, and it looks so fucking epic with the new Spritsail armor set. I think it just works really well. Who else did I have on this list? Oh my god, you have to take a look at this one. I'm super excited about this one because he looks amazing in this too. Our good old friend, Mr. Harrow. Ugh, look at that. It just fits him so perfectly, and the thing about the Spritsail armor set is it's not too ridiculously obtrusive. There are, like, I'm gonna be frank with you, the Hydroid Prime can sometimes be a little bit much, but this one feels like it's understated, but yet still makes a statement. It's like, I'm rich, bitch, take a look at what I look like. I also went ahead and gave the treatment to Trinity Prime as well, and I'm gonna kind of reveal one of the issues with this armor set. It's great, but depending on the way that the Warframe's chests are set up, sometimes they can't facilitate having that, you know, that chest bit on there. Also, in addition, I don't feel like it works really well with sigils. So if you have a chest sigil, you might have to choose between not using the chest piece or just not using the sigil. It's gonna be one of those two. Now, my last and favorite one that, oh, actually, there's two. See, so let's go ahead and take a look at Volt real quick. And I really like the way that it fits on the Zener skin. And I wanted to go ahead and toss that SANDR on as well because I felt like the kind of shapes really mimicked each other well. So if you're a fan of, I forget which SANDR that is the Uru Prime SANDR. If you guys picked that one up, I think that those two are a really good match, especially on something like the Zener skin, which is a little bit more simple. So you get a little bit of flash for your cash, I guess you'll go ahead and put it. And then let's take a look at one that I found to be very interesting and almost kind of like a, I won't say a saving grace, but legit, I've never been a fan of the, I don't know why, but the Nyx Prime just on her own did not look all that great to me, but you combine it with the motherfucking Spritsail skin, and it just sits so well. As you can see right here, you know, she's got like the boob carriage that she's always had going on, but combined with the Zener skin, you not only get like the boob undercarriage, but you get like the boob framing, and I'm like, awesome. And then of course, the way that the metallics go, it literally forms this kind of like upper cage around the boobages, and I was like, holy shit, that is super dope. The shoulders look fantastic with it, and it works with the knees so well. It almost kind of like draws the eye up and back. It's like the knees come up and back, and kind of like when it comes into the thighs, it kind of like shoots backwards. I feel like just like the way that its shape just fits so well with Nyx Prime, and I've never been that big of a fan of just like plain old Nyx Prime, but combined with this armor set, I have to give it a big thumbs up. So I'm putting it out there in the universe. If you're not going to end up picking Hydroid Prime Access, the customization, the accessories kit, that's what I'm calling it. The accessories are definitely something that you will be kicking yourself if you have to pick up in like a vaulted pack. You know, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, this is going to be one of those that people are waiting for. You know what I mean? We're already waiting for the Hydroid Prime. If you don't pick this up now, you're going to end up waiting for it on the next rotation. So I'm just putting it out in the universe, kind of putting that idea into your head, because I don't want anybody coming in, you know, a couple months down the line saying, oh man, I knew I should have picked it up. I really should have picked it up, because I hear a lot of that with some of the other armor sets. Now, before we close things out, Future Rob wanted to make an announcement, so I want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up for everyone who has managed to stay through till the very end of this video. I wanted y'all to be aware that I would be doing another glyph giveaway. As you guys know, I do time release glyph giveaways on this channel, so be sure to check back to this video at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on August 1st. So that should be like more than 24 hours notice, alright? So if you guys gotta set your alarms, go ahead and set your alarms. So best of luck, and I hope you guys manage to get your hands on them. So that about does it for this episode. Let me know how you feel about the Hydroid Prime model. Are you absolutely loving the dangly bits on the beard and the ponytail or bandana, whatever it may be? How are you feeling about those boots? Because legitimately, those boots got me shook, and the gloves too are looking damn sexy. Tell me how you feel about the armor set. Do you love the effects on the Spritsail? Is it something that you're gonna go ahead and pick up? Leave that all in the comments below, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my shore leave as of now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll chat with you guys next time. Bye bye.